What's up, Haunt fans? It's Tuesday, which means it is TransWorld Tuesday. Welcome to TransWorld Live. We hope all of you are doing wonderful tonight. Of course, every week, this is where we are going to feature only the best vendors, creators, haunted attractions, behind the scenes. It is your official accompaniment for all TransWorld and industry news. So we're so glad you're here with us. We have a very, very special show tonight and can't wait to share a whole lot of details and our incredibly awesome guest with you. Now, you might be noticing Nicole's not here. So we apologize, but Nicole's actually on a different TransWorld assignment right now. So you get to deal with me. Awesome. And I get to deal with you, Sean. What's going on? Tara, that's right. We are on the road to Legendary Haunt Tour. So let's go through some facts. We've got 14 days until Halloween. Can you believe that? The season just flew by. 142 days until TransWorld. So I don't know where time is going. Everyone's just literally looking at their watches, and we were just talking about this being Labor Day, 2 seconds ago. How was everybody's Friday the 13th? Here in the Chicagoland region and the Wisconsin Midwest, it was rainy. So we want to know, how was it by you? Put your comments in the chat. We definitely want to see what you got to do and how the precipitation and the weather may have accented your adventure over the weekend. Of course, let us know where you're coming from. Let us know what haunted attraction you work at, what you support, maybe your favorite haunted attraction. Let us know in the chat. We'd love to know that you are here. To Tara's point earlier, we are on the road to Legendary Haunt Tour. So let's start this thing properly with our official promotional video. Haunt Tour, and we get to see 3 amazing attractions. We obviously went through Barrett's last week, and we are really excited to dive deep into the second attraction in just a little bit here. Let's talk about some overall stats. And before we do that, we want to welcome Benny. Yes, Evil Intentions. We love you guys. I think we'll see you on Saturday. Nadine, thanks for being here. Pandora, We love you. Yes, and Dark Rose Manor. Allison, you made it on time. That's awesome. We love that you guys are here. And for all those that aren't commenting, please put it into the chat. We'd love to make it more interactive, and we'll call you out. Thanks so much for being here with us every Tuesday night. Okay, we are officially 24 days away from the Legendary Haunt Tour. Like we said, we are officially on the road. LegendaryHauntTour.com. That's the one place to find out all of the information. Check out more trailers. Check out more photos. Find out all of the hotel information. Check out the itinerary. Be able to review everything with food and all of your culinary options. And of course, the additional tour options to Salem. And of course, to get your tickets, LegendaryHauntTour.com. Now, we had Jenny on last week, and we went through all of the details, and all of these are listed at the website. But we really want to give you just a quick synopsis of everything. Of course, the Legendary Haunt Tour is an amazing opportunity to spend time with peers, with industry folk, with super fans, with owners, with operators, with actors, with legends of the industry, and being able to experience some of the best shows in the entire country. You'll get a chance to hobnob with Alan Hops, with John Eslich, with Ben Armstrong, with industry legends from coast to coast that have seen it all. You can pick their brains while seeing some of the best attractions in the country. So let's talk real quick about how the overview of everything's going to go. Registration is going to open at the Boston Marriott Burlington Hotel on Friday at 2 p.m. So that means if you're driving, if you're flying, you want to make sure you aim to get in just after 12 o'clock noon to make sure you're not late for any of the festivities on Friday, November 10th. Saturday, when we check in on Saturday again, that'll be open as well in the morning, but we'll get around to that. Our haunt tour kicks off on Friday at Barrett's Haunted Mansion. We're going to feature a full show with 2 haunted houses, a dinner, cash bar, questions and answers with the owners, the creators, and all of the lead management. And photos are going to be allowed. This is the best part. So those buses are going to leave at 4 o'clock. So remember, kind of give yourself a little bit of time, because we know if you're flying by air, sometimes things get delayed. So if you're coming in, come in early on Friday, because the bus leaves at 4 o'clock from the Boston Marriott. And we're going to head over to Barrett's Haunted Mansion. We're going to get some amazing food. There's a ton of options there. They're all on the website. You can check them out. And then we're going to head over to Fright Kingdom. So excited for that. We're going to get a full show there. 5 haunted houses, cash bar, questions and answers, and photos are going to be allowed during the behind the scenes. How awesome is that? They want you to be able to see that. It's going to be a very full night of great culinary exposition and adventure, and 2 amazing haunted attractions. Saturday, now this is Saturday, November 11th. If you want to go to Salem, Salem may be one of the witchiest towns in all of the country. They've got a great history. And of course, Nicole's very own Hocus Pocus might be based, somewhere in that area. This is an additional ticket. So just want to clarify real quick. We've got our normal Legendary Haunt Tour ticket. If you want to go to Salem, it's a little bit of an additional add-on. You can go to Salem. We'll have bus transportation for you. You don't have to. This is an optional part of the tour, but we'll be able to go see Salem, be able to tour the town on your own, have a real nice day adventure, and come on back, because our main event, our main feature will be Haunted Overload. And we're going to be talking to Eric in just a few minutes here. So again, for timing purposes, all of this is on the website, but you want to make sure that you are ready to go when the buses depart at 2:45. That's time on Saturday that you're looking for. You don't want to miss that. We're going to get a chance to see Haunted Overload in the daylight and at night. So exciting. We're going to have a full feast of meal. We're going to go through all of that. Of course, if you have any questions, if you have any dietary restrictions, any special, hey, I just need help with this being answered, Jen wants to help you. email Jen at jen@haashow.com. That's jen@haashow.com. Let her know if you are coming to the tour, but you have some allergies or you have some special situation. We will do everything that we can to accommodate and make sure that you are taken care of. The standard bus tour price, the early bird price right now, and for one more week, is $395. That includes 3 awesome attractions, 3 legendary attractions, the behind the scenes, the photos, the feasts on both nights, bus transportation. You literally have to sit back and just hang out with the legends of the industry, but only if you purchase that ticket by October 24th at midnight. Other than that, like poof, it's going to go back to the regular price. Now, if you'd rather have a little bit of freedom, rather drive yourself, you could still join us on the Legendary Haunt Tour, but without the bus transportation, that ticket, the early bird price, is $295. If you want to see Salem, that is an additional add-on, and you could choose that with your both driving or bus. Either way, whatever you want to do. So all of those ticket options are spelled out online, but we wanted to make sure that you understood that there is 2 different ways that you could be a part of the Legendary Haunt Tour. And if you want to be a part of Salem, there's an option for that as well. Really excited about that. Check it out, legendaryhaunttour.com, and it'll answer all your questions. If not, we are here to take care of you. We want to thank a lot of different people that make all of this possible. Of course, our 2 main sponsors for the Legendary Haunt Tour, Granite Insurance and Fear Ticket. That's graniteinsurance.com, fearticket.com. We want to thank them both for helping to make the Legendary Haunt Tour possible. And please let us know if you have any questions. We will definitely get you answers. That's what this show is here for. Now, we said we're going to dive in and we are going to get into our main event of the weekend. So excited. Haunted Overload is going to be with us, but we really want to pay homage to our official premier show sponsor for TransWorld Live. Ladies and gentlemen, our biggest thanks to HauntPay, hauntpay.com, and check out this short clip from our amazing sponsor. We love those guys. Thanks again, hauntpay.com. And thanks for all your comments in the chat. We love you guys. Benny, we love you. Tara, we love you. Peter, we love you. Sean, we love you. Evan, we love you. Chad, we love you. We're just keeping going. We're so glad that you've got your hotel booked. We're so glad that you guys are coming in early so you don't miss the bus. Because if you do, you're going to be late and you don't want to regret anything, as we are going to Haunted Overload. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the owner, the operator, the creator, the mastermind behind Haunted Overload. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Lowther.
Eric! Hey, how's it going? Good to be here.
I'm so happy you're here. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. I've got Wallace right behind me. Wallace, come say hi real quick.
Wallace! What's up, guys?
How you doing? Nice to see everybody out there. Glad you're coming.
We are beyond excited. I just want to point this out real quick. Like, you guys are outside right now. You're not in a basement. You're not in a barn.
No, it's totally under the stars, under the branches of the trees. It's pretty cool. As long as it's not raining, you know.
Oh, we had gotten a chance to talk prior to the show, and I saw his background. I'm like, wait a second, I know that is outdoors.
Yeah.
Oh, so excited that you are here. Thanks for bringing Wallace with you as well. Let's get the easy stuff out of the way first. How has your season been going?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. We couldn't ask for anything better. The build season was incredibly challenging because of the rain. So much rain every weekend. It was like pouring rain, but as soon as we opened, it cleared up, and it's been perfect October weather. So I'm pretty psyched about that.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I think in different parts of the country, they always have to deal with different precipitation, different weather. And we were joking about how, like, just a few years ago, we have similar climates that it could be 60 mid October and then snow on Halloween. So
Right, right.
uh,
Yeah,
it,
we've done a show in the snow before. It looked pretty cool, but
well, for those that don't know, I know this is like the fun, most meta of questions, but can you tell us what is Haunted Overlook?
Oh boy, it's a little, it's a little hard to describe until you're actually here. There's tons of photos and videos and everything out there. But what I hear the most is when people come here and they say that, the photos and videos don't do it justice, because being here surrounded by nothing but Halloween and the smells and the sights and the sounds, it's just it even blows me away sometimes when I'm back there and then I come out and they've taken an hour to light all these hundreds of pumpkins. I'm like, wow, this is
Oh
looking
gosh.
this is looking awesome. And with the fog and the massive soundtracks that we have, it's just that's the reason why I named it Haunted Overload, because I wanted to just overload you with Halloween. When I started my home haunt years ago, it was called the Haunted Yard, and it just kept growing and growing and growing and growing, and I was pretty much forced out of the neighborhood because it got so, I mean, it got so big that I was going to be shut down. So the only choice I had was to attempt to make a business out of it. And then I'm like, I wrote down like literally like 300 names, and that one always like stuck out. And I had some other ones, and they were taken already. And then when this one wasn't taken, I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna name it Haunted Overload because that's what I try to try to do here.
I, not to we are all like this could be some breaking news. I don't know if you're willing to share, but since you mentioned that, like, what was the runner up, or maybe like a third runner up? What could Haunted Overload might have been known as?
Oh man, I wish I had
Just curious.
I can't. Literally been so long that I have these pieces of paper somewhere, in my archives, but I can't even remember, to tell you the truth.
That's okay.
But there was a couple that I'm like, oh, this is really cool, but then I'd look it up and it was taken already, but this one wasn't, so
I
that's
it's
that's what it became.
from everybody we've ever talked to, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but from everybody we have ever talked to, you are absolutely correct, at least from our third party perspective. That is absolutely the perfect name. So I think you did perfect. um, I love, can we backtrack just a half a step? I love that you started as a home haunter, and we have so many partnerships with different home haunter communities all across the country, especially in Chicago and throughout. And what year did you get started as a home haunter?
Well, that's a little bit hard to say because it started literally when I was about 12 years old, getting a little bit too old to trick or treat, and I always liked the JC's haunted houses and everything. And me and a friend were like, "Oh, let's put a little haunted house on in his basement." And once I get that first scare from the trick or treaters and stuff, I was totally hooked on scaring
Oh,
people. And so that's when it really started, in the, I don't know, 79 or something like that, when and then I would do it at, my neighbor's house, my grandparents' house, parents' house, and just little displays, Halloween parties and stuff like that. But it didn't really get going until about 2001, when I finally had bought my own house. And a couple years prior to that, I had sold everything because it was getting really overwhelming, kicking my parents out of the garage and setting this thing up for a whole month, and just for a couple nights. So when I bought my own house, I started over again from scratch in
okay.
about 2000 and 2001, and I wanted to have a massive Halloween party. So the first thing my yard was very small, so I wanted to make a 20-foot scarecrow. So I made that, and I knew I hit on something special when people were just jamming on their brakes in front of my house to jump out and take a picture of this thing. So, as time went on, I wanted to have a bigger and bigger Halloween party, bigger display. So I tried to go 30 feet. And in that case, I had to have a, construction company come in and put a telephone pole in my yard to make these giant, monsters. Because like I said, the yard was very small. So the only thing I could do was build up instead of out. So I had these gigantic monsters looming over the crowd, and that's kind of how we got pigeonholed into not, you know, into these gigantic things because people wanted to see always bigger and bigger and better, and the telephone pole monsters were very extremely labor intensive. They'd take me literally 3 days just to put one up. So when I moved from the home hunt onto a farm, I started building structures that we could actually leave up. That's why these big wooden structures, it's a lot of work. It takes a whole season of work, but then we can actually leave it up instead of putting these gigantic monsters up and taking them down. And, I still have, smaller,
Sure.
monsters like these big pumpkin things. I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah,
We
there's
can,
one
we
there.
can.
you know I still have that stuff like that, but they stay up all year round now.
We just got a comment. So we were one of your biggest fans, and we're so honored that they check out our show every week. Of course, the Hops family, Alan and Shannon Hops. And Alan famously always likes to say, so complimentary about your attraction. It is the Halloweeniest haunted house there is. And Shannon just commented in the chat, this show is a love letter to Halloween.
Well,
Amen.
that's a great compliment because that's always, I've always loved Halloween as a kid and everything, and that's why we have even though it's extremely labor intensive to have all these real jack-o'-lanterns with real candles and truckloads of corn stalks and truckloads of hay bales. It really sets the mood like nothing, like nothing else, to have all this authenticity, in the display, and just make it as, Halloweeny as humanly possible.
I love it. I love it. So you guys are about 70 miles north of Boston on the Demerit Hill Farm in Lee, New
Yeah.
Hampshire, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's a great setting.
and you get to work year round. You get to work under the beautiful night sky. How long has Haunted Overload as a professional haunt been operating?
We moved from the front yard in 2007, and
Okay.
we went to another farm just up the street. We did it there for 3 years,
Okay.
and then a lot of complicated, unforeseen circumstances. We had to move out of that location. So then we came here to the Demerit farm in 2010.
Beautiful.
So that's
What's really cool now, obviously, everybody that's online is commenting. They're giving you tons of love. Everybody has seen videos or pictures, and we'll talk about that in a second. But one of the biggest things about Haunted Overload is that it is so beautiful, it doesn't need to be cloaked by night. You guys actually do day tours because this is really beautiful stuff that stands out just fine. It just does just fine in the daylight. And I believe that we're going to be treating all of our guests on the Legendary Haunt Tour to a special daylight tour as well.
Oh yeah, people love the daylight tour, and that's the funny thing. That started with my home haunt also, because what I would do is put up this massive display and then go to work and just let people roam the whole display all day long. So when I turned it into a professional attraction, I just kept that up, even though it's very like I said, labor intensive to hide everything and make everything perfect, because anything that's going to be out of place is going to show up in pictures, trash
Yeah.
cans or cords or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm always running around, hide that, hide this, fix this, you know what I mean? Because it's going to show up in photos. So it is definitely challenging, but people love the day hunt because they see 100 times more details in the daytime than when you're running through at night.
which it's so beautiful. We have seen just as many pictures at night as we have of the day, and I cannot wait to experience it. These just permanent, larger than life structures. And unless you're inside of a structure or a building, you guys are pretty much completely outdoors.
Oh yeah, you can go in and out of buildings like say the mansion, but the fire codes around here are pretty strict. So I only get 160 square feet without a sprinkler. So I've
Okay.
had to design some of my buildings to have giant holes in the like the mansion has a gigantic hole in the roof. So you
Okay.
go in and that that counts that won't count against our square footage undercover. So I've had to creatively do things like that, like build giant buildings, but maybe they have half a roof or something like that. But yeah, you can go in and out of some of the buildings, but yeah, it's mainly all outdoors.
That's that's awesome. It takes artistry and also skill to work within your constraints and still make it so epic and iconic, as many people are saying in the chat, and legendary, as you guys are. How big is the entire property that you guys work on?
I'm a terrible judge of acreage, but if I had to guess, I would say it's around 5.5 acres. The trail, the farm is 170 acres or something like that. But
Okay.
we only comprise about maybe 7 acres of the whole place. But the trail itself is probably about 5.5 acres. If I had to guess, I haven't really
I
totally measured it, but because it goes back and forth, so it's really hard to say.
I love that too, because only, 5.5 acres. That's so awesome. One of the fun debates that I've in getting to get excited for Legendary when we started talking about it at this year's TransWorld, when we started talking to people about it, just ramping the show up. One of the things that I learned is there's a heavy debate online. Some people walk through your show in like 45 minutes, but others say it's like 90 minutes. Can you weigh in? What is the general average of walk time through your show?
Yeah, that is really tough to say because, like I say, some people come. We have the daytime haunt. People can really. Gosh, some people take 2.5 hours to get through the thing, and some people, on the show nights want to run through the thing. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit. I can do it in like 15 minutes running, but most of the people it's probably around 45 minutes or so. But I
That's
mean,
awesome.
but it's usually a solid hour with like the queue line and taking pictures and all that stuff. But it varies a lot.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
you know, some of the slower people we have to keep pulling over so that some of the kids can run past. You know what I mean? Because they're just like they've never seen anything like it, so they're just stopping in the middle of the trail. So that's kind of the drawback of having some eye candy.
I'm sure that I probably speak for many haunters that are here like, yep, we're going to be taking a lot of time on that one.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful, and obviously everybody's seen a chance. Like we talked about the sets being larger than life. There's a church, there's skulls, there's hundreds and thousands of pumpkins. You do a daylight tour. It is beautiful. There's these gorgeous, huge wood structures. I think in one video that we were watching, it looked to be 20 or 25 feet. How tall are some of your sets?
The skull that you see behind me is basically a 4-story building. That's like
Oh,
34 feet tall.
wow.
We're building a pumpkin now that's going to be almost 50 feet tall, but that's like a 2-year project because it's just so incredibly massive and very hard to build because we're trying to make it look hollow. So, so but yeah, I built one time a 50-foot scarecrow, but I had to take that down because some of the challenges around here are the weather and the storms and
Sure.
everything. So when you get like a 50-foot structure, after a
It,
while, it's like you know what I mean. It has a lifespan to it, and
understood.
so I'm like I'm gonna take this down before something happens to it.
Understood completely. Now, the rumor has it that everything is so beautiful and larger than life. You've actually had some weddings and or wedding photos taken at the property.
Oh yeah, that's true. We get requests like that all the time, and yeah, there has been. Yeah, people are into Halloween weddings, that's for sure.
We love it. And we love all of our super fans who are just giving you love in the chat. This is so awesome to see. Of course, Legendary Haunt Tour is the place to come see them. So the big question that came up is you did have to move, which you progressed from a home haunter to kind of outgrowing your spaces. Is this your intended permanent location for the rest of your run?
Oh yeah, geez. This is like the dream location because it's the perfect New England setting. It's got stone walls, the lay of the land, it's uphills and downhills. So I really have to be creative with the hills. Like we built a
Yeah,
mine shaft on top of a hill, so it actually feels like you're going down into the ground. Sometimes that's a little bit of a double-edged sword because at
sure.
one point I've changed the trail so many times in so many years. At one point we had the ending of the trail going up a hill, and by the time those people get all the way through, some of them were just like totally winded trying to get up this hill at the end. And so the next year I'm like, I'm making the entrance going down a hill, and and the exit down a hill so that people don't run out of energy by the time they get to the end, and cause a conga line. I it was pretty funny.
Have you ever considered an oxygen station or like a refueling station, like a marathon?
Oh, sometimes we've needed oxygen for people. Yeah.
I love it. Well, obviously, we touched on this earlier. You guys have been on every haunt magazine, every list of the greatest haunts in the country and of all time. I don't think there is one publication or one list that didn't have you there during my own personal research. I know you get guests from all over the country and the world. How far have you had someone travel that you're aware of, anyway, to come see you guys?
I think Australia it sticks out as being the farthest, but it's crazy. I'm getting emails like in January saying we're booking. When can we buy tickets? I'm like, it's just January. From England and all, all over the place. It's pretty nuts.
That's awesome.
It puts a lot of pressure on us because it's
Sure.
like, man, these guys are coming from so or whatever, but everybody seems to have a good time no matter what,
I love
even
that.
if it does rain.
We are very, very honored that we do get haunt owners and haunt operators to join us on the show and to be able to watch and to learn from amazing veterans like yourself. And the question that we always are asked to ask of you is, because you are performing at such a high level, do you have any tips or tricks? What's your secret sauce to your success?
Uh, I would say just to you have to have a massive passion for this thing because it's so incredibly difficult that if you just wake up one morning and decide you want to open a haunted attraction, it's probably not going to work out too good. So- because being a home haunter and then changing to professional it's like night and day. And there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of just unforeseen things that pop up. But if you have the passion for it, then you can persevere through all that extra stuff that you got to go through just to keep running and putting on a successful thing. And one of the other things I would say is just keep improving, because once you build your audience, as long as they don't have a bad experience, they'll enthusiastically be return customers. If you burn them by either any number of ways, charting too much or just putting on a substandard show or whatever, then that's going to be very difficult to continue. But if you just keep trying to improve and reinvesting and killing yourself all year long, then eventually people will just flock to your door. But it takes time. It takes a long time.
These photos, wisdom well shared. Thank you for that. These pictures are amazing, and if I remember correctly, they're from this season. This is what we're going to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. These are just from a couple days ago.
Oh my gosh, Thank you for this. As we're looking at these, just some quick notes here. They actually won. Haunted Overload won ABC's Great Halloween Fright Fight back in 2014, which is a huge honor.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty wild. They reached out to us, and we were like, well, if we're gonna do this thing, we're gonna if we end up winning, we're gonna give all the money to the animal shelter that we support, and so that worked out really great for them.
Oh, and I know our good friends at Grim Collective actually did a video there, and it has like nearly 300,000 views. They did both the day and the nighttime. But as we talked about, and I've talked to so many different people that have been through your attraction already, and even some of the comments too. Photos, videos, they're fine, they're great, but they don't do it justice.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, when they came out and they contacted me, they're so enthusiastic, and they have such a big following that's probably why, they got so many views, but they covered it really well, and their enthusiasm really showed through. And you don't get to see a lot of haunts during the day, so I think it was kind of a unique thing.
Now, you did mention, I love that you benefit a humane society. If I'm saying it correctly, the Kachiko Valley
Yeah, it
Humane
actually
Society.
changed names. It's now called the
Oh,
Pope Memorial Humane Society, but it was
oh,
Cachiko Valley for many years. It's the same one, but they just changed names.
how did you
But
guys
yeah,
get started with them? That's awesome.
well, it started from my home haunt. I made it into a fundraiser, and I would give, half. I needed it's funny because I was spending so much money on props. I'm like, I need a way to fund this, so I'm not like going broke on all these massive things that I'm building. So I went to the animal shelter, and not the same one, but a one that was in my town, and I said, hey, how about we do a 50-50 thing? Like, I'll take 50% from my props, and I'll give you 50% and see what happens. And that's how it all started, with a donation box. And then I would get, a few $100 the first year. And then I'd buy tons of great stuff and buy, make more things. And then it just kept spiraling like that, until, at the end there, we were making some pretty good money, being able to give half of it to the shelter. And then when we turned pro, we decided to, give a percentage to the shelter, and we have a contract with them and everything. So we've been able to raise $500,000 for them so far, which is everybody can get behind it. It's
Yes.
and, yeah, so it's a real great thing to be not only putting on this Halloween thing, but helping the animals at the same time. That's why we get the most enthusiastic people, about, that love Halloween and love the animals at the same time, and they make all their own costumes and everything. It's a really cool thing.
How can you not? That is awesome. Bravo, sir. Bravo. That is
Yeah, we're pretty
awesome.
proud of that.
Alan Hops, Sir Alan Hops, as we refer to him here, made a comment in the chat that he said, "Yeah, it is amazing. He made it there, and it brings joy to his Halloween heart."
That's
So
cool. That's great to hear.
we do have a couple of technical questions, if you're so inclined.
Sure.
A few people have asked, with a property that big, how much staff, how many actors and crew do you have to maintain?
It's funny because it's a pretty small build crew. We come over here. We have a schedule. We start in March, and when it's still, snow on the ground, and we come over here every Monday, and then we start Mondays and Saturdays, and then after the 4th of July, we start Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays. But and then so it's probably about 5, 6, maybe even 10 people on Mondays. Um, there's a lot of people that got Mondays off. It's pretty funny. But then
Praise
but then
Mondays.
for the actors, we have about 104 actors, but it can fluctuate obviously as the season starts. People get sick and everything, so it can fluctuate anywhere from 100 to 80 something. So it's
Okay.
a pretty big, but I mean, like you say, with a property this big, it's even with 100 people, there's so much area, and I build like 3 times as many scare stations as there are people, so they have flexibility. I like to give the actors a lot of
Right.
flexibility in their scenes.
I like that. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's
it's cool.
awesome. Awesome. People are learning right now. Their comments about I'm learning. I'm absorbing everything. Now, of course, we are very, very excited for all of your success. But one of the questions that always comes up, and maybe it's an opportunity for learning from anyone that's currently operating a haunt, is what are some challenges or hurdles that you've had along the way?
The one of the biggest challenges is the weather and just being out in the woods. Like when we come over in the spring, the place looks like a literal bomb hit it because ice storms and windstorms and snowstorms, branches are piling up on the trail. You can barely even navigate the trail. So it takes us all season long just to get the trail walkable again, between getting all the leaves out of there, getting all the branches out of there. And then as you're getting branches out of there, more are falling all year long. And then you have to bring in truckloads and truckloads and truckloads of wood chips to put over the entire trail, so it's incredibly labor intensive. So there's a lot of volunteers that will come over every weekend just to work on trails, and it takes them the whole entire season just to get the trail walkable. So that's a lot of challenges that people don't even see, that
Sure.
there's roots and there's rocks, all over the trail that all of a sudden pop up because so many people going over it. It's like that wasn't there before. It's popped up because a couple thousand people have just gone over it. So there's a lot of challenges just in making the trail walkable and safe in the woods. That, like I said, the rain this year wreaked havoc on like the corn stalks and the pumpkins. Like there was a lot of uh extra labor involved this year. Our first pumpkin crop was like, it got like a virus because of all the rain, and so we had to throw out truckloads of pumpkins even before we started. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That we weren't counting on that. You know what I mean? So this shit, that never happened before, so it's like it's something new every year that you run into.
that's awesome. That we
Yeah.
are getting more questions, if that's all right. Tara asks, how does one become an actor for you guys?
We have a website, and they're on the top left-hand corner. There's a link called Howl for the Animals, and you click on that, and it sends an email to us, and then we'll set you up from there. But it's as easy as that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Robert's going to post the link into the chat. Of course, if you guessed, you can Google it, but hauntedoverload.com is the easy way to get there. Sean asks, is this strictly a walking trail, or is there a riding hayride as well?
No, there's no riding hayride. We can barely. It's so funny because I'll post some videos, and people are like, "Why don't you use a lift?" If you saw how you get, there's stone walls and trees everywhere. We have to drag in everything by hand, so you can't. We have a challenge just making the trail like wide enough for a wheelchair, because some of the spots I make very tight just to be scary, and
Sure.
so we really push the envelope of you know tightness in some of our turns and stuff like that. But yeah, so you couldn't get something like that in here.
We have a two-part question. If you had to take a guess, how many pumpkins do you go through each season, and are they grown on property?
So, some are grown on the property, but we have to buy massive amounts of them, and it's different every year because of the weather. If we can start out and it's like literally 80 degrees when we're carving them, in the beginning of October, and they will only last one weekend, and we have to do
Oh,
them all over again, at least
oh,
150 to 200. But it's for the legendary, I like to really amp it up and put a few more out than our normal show. So
oh my
so
gosh, so
look for
excited.
that. Yeah, it's pretty cool when you see them all lit up.
That is, we've seen so many pictures. I mean, they're just epic. I can't wait to just be in the moment and experience it. I
Yeah, it's
feel
fun.
it. Alan asks, have you tried anything on the ground other than wood chips or mulch?
Yeah, we use gravel in some areas, and I
Okay.
would love to gravel the whole entire trail at some point, but it's some of these things take years to accomplish. Gravel's
Sure.
a heck of a lot more expensive and a lot more labor intensive, but also gravel is a lot less forgiving when people fall than wood chips are. So I don't know about that. We use
Sure.
gravel on the hills and everything because it helps with the footing. But if people fall on gravel, it hurts a lot worse than wood chips.
The first aid station is going to be
Yeah.
active. Understood.
Yeah.
Under- Now, there's a rumor that we need your assistance with. And the rumor is that your tickets for your regular October season are already sold out. And
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I feel bad for the people that don't get tickets, but like we try to warn people all season long. If you want to see the show, you have to get the tickets now. And people always wait till the last minute, and then we get tons and tons of panicked emails. Oh, I waited too long, and it's like, ooh, I feel bad, but I mean, you got to cut it off at some point.
it, so that means that if you want to see Haunted Overload in 2023, there's only one way, and that is the Legendary Haunt Tour.
Yeah.
So, legendaryhaunttour.com is the only place to be able to see them this year. That is awesome. I know that you're a major cornerstone of this year's tour. Everybody's beyond excited. Why are you, Wallace, and the entire team excited to be a part of the Legendary Haunt Tour?
Well, it's a great honor to be, asked to do this, and like you said, hobnob with all the industry professionals. We did it, I think it was 8 years ago,
Mhm.
and we had, we don't have a giant bonfire during our regular shows, but we had a giant bonfire for the legendary, and we'll be doing it again, because that was one of the highlights. Is after the show, everybody gathering around that gigantic bonfire and just talking about their haunts in the season, and asking questions. It's just a really really special night. So
Oh,
all the actors are very excited to meet, like say, like different vendors that are coming that we know of. Like Brandy Beast is coming, and
yeah.
she made some of the masks that we use, and so that's very exciting for the actors. And it's just a overall very exciting time to get together and see people that you haven't seen, except for TransWorld or other
Right.
yeah, you know
To your point, that is one of the beauties of the Legendary Haunt Tour is everybody's so busy, whether they're selling or they're shopping or they're meeting or they're learning at TransWorld. This is that opportunity where everybody's not totally distracted, or working, and they get a chance to have those moments and connect and enjoy the camaraderie.
yeah, without a doubt, that was my favorite thing about last time's event.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know there's tons of excitement, and I know that your time is precious as well. If you wouldn't mind, can you answer some personal questions? Of course, these are our most fun and invasive questions. I don't know about
Sure,
that, but
sure, I'll try.
we're all normal people. We love Halloween. What gets you most excited about our all favorite holiday?
Really, when everything comes together, like it's so it's so much work putting this whole thing together, and all the elements are hard in their own respect. But when everything gets turned on at once and you hear the first screams of the first patrons coming through, that's what really gets me excited, because I run around with a chainsaw all night myself, like checking on things and scaring people. That's why pretty much I do this, all year long, is to get that chance to scare people and get that adrenaline rush, and then it pumps us up for the next season, and what will be new and what we can redesign, and all this stuff. But just pretty much all of it. And then Halloween night is just a really special time when we are putting on the show, because it's the actual Halloween. You know what I mean? It's like there's only one Christmas morning. There's only one Halloween. So when it's actually Halloween and we're running, it's like that just feels really
Yes.
cool.
I couldn't have said that better. Oh my gosh. Okay, stay with us, everybody. We've got a special surprise for you. We want to thank Eric. Eric's going to hang with us because he's going to help us with a special surprise and an opportunity for you guys to win something. We want to thank you, Eric, of course, for being here. We can't wait to hang out with you in like 3 weeks. It seems like that's going to be hauntedoverload.com. They have a beautiful gallery. They have tons of videos. And Robert might have something here to wet your whistle before we leave. Love it, love it. And while that video was playing, Alan posted in the chat, Eric is my hero.
That's great to hear.
It. All right, we've got the toughest question of the night, and all of you are going to get a chance to win a Legendary Haunt t-shirt courtesy of TransWorld and the Legendary Haunt Tour. To do that, you need to guess Eric's favorite horror or Halloween movie. Now you're going to pop that in the chat. You know the normal routine. We already know his answer. So the first message that Robert and I see in the chat will win a free Legendary Haunt t-shirt. And you, of course, can wear it when you're going to see Eric in person at the Legendary Haunt Tour on November 10th and 11th in Boston and Salem, Massachusetts. So let's see what you guys come up with. What is Eric's favorite horror or Halloween movie? Very good.
So sometimes Chris just decides to leave us, Eric. So that leaves Robert and you. So just bear with us here. I don't see the correct answer yet, but Chris, if you're watching this, sign back in and I'll get you back on the show. It was never my plan to host the show, Eric, but you know, I'm here just in case. Wait, I think I found him.
Oh, see,
Chris.
I got lost. I was going down the trail and the pumpkins like sucked me in and I couldn't get out. It was awesome.
Sure, you picked the 1 week Nicole's not here to jump off the screen, so I have no choice.
But do you see what I see? We have a lot of Friday the 13th, a lot of Draculas, a lot of Texas Chainsaw, a lot of great answers. But I think Mr. Sean Fenner is the first one with Halloween. That's right, the 1978 classic.
Nice.
Congratulations, Sean. I've got your information. We're going to get your shirt size and we'll make sure you have it in plenty of time before you get to ride those buses to go see Haunted Overload. And of course, legendaryhaunttour.com is the only place to go get tickets. Eric, thank you so much for being a part of this. And we can't wait to hang out with you in just a few weeks.
Well, thanks for having us. It's going to be great.
And for everybody, thanks for joining us on this week. We will be back next week. That's Tuesday, October 24th, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time, where we're going to dive further into the Legendary Haunt Tour. We're going to get behind the scenes and we are going to give you more wonderful things to look forward to in just a few weeks. Of course, we want to thank Haunt Pay one more time for being our premier show sponsor. And of course, all of you for being here, interacting, and being such an important part of the Haunt family. Stay safe, stay dry, and get ready for the Legendary Haunt Tour. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Later, everybody.